So welcome back to the channel. Now we are working in a project in the garage. I started this project like 2 months ago. I was working part-time because it was a tough project to begin. I'm going to explain you. Anyways, my goal is to have a logging winch, which means that I'm going to either buy one, which I'm not going to be happy, or maybe I make one myself exactly how I wanted it to be designed. And the reason for that is that I'm lazy and I want it to be controlled by a remote, and I wanted to also unspool remotely, and I don't want it to be hydraulic. I want it to be driven by the tractor, by its PTO. So here is the beast. So for reference, it's 4 feet wide. It's a spool. Hopefully you can see it. Was good for 30,000 pounds. And this was also fitted with that big frame here that you can see on the big toe wings back then. So anyways, it got a gearbox on one side. There's a worm gear here, and then the spool, and then some kind of unlock and engaging device. So I did some research on that kind of winch. There's still a little bit of documentation available on that. For what I'm aware of, this kind of winch was made in between the 50s and the 70s. When I got it, it was very, very full of rust, and the bearings were shot. The only thing, but the main thing that was good, is the spur gear. I'm going to show you a picture of that. And the worm, they are pretty much like brand new, which is the key element for that. The shaft is still true, but I took, for this, I'm going to show you this. So here, to have it moving and to dismantle the whole thing, it took me 2 full days. I'm going to show you the pictures of the puller I used to pull this. This spool, it spins freely, and this here is going to engage it with the shaft. Back then it used to have a brake system here. I removed pretty much it all. I don't need a brake on it. The shaft on its end is a 1.5 inches. The main shaft is 50 millimeters. Don't ask me why, I don't know why. And there was those bearings inside that were shot. We changed it, Mike and myself, last weekend. We redo all the gasket material everywhere. I pretty much undo all those rods that initially control also a brake here, which I won't use. And here, this engaging device, you can see it, how it engages. Like that. So anyways, this is the base start of the project. I only need to drive this for pulling, but that's not going to be it. I want it to be controlled remotely, and I want it to be able to spin both direction while being controlled remotely. So those were the old bearings. It's cross bearings. They were quite expensive to get. And then this is pretty much all the stuff I took a few weeks to gather together, all the components we will be using for that project. And here are going to be the interesting part. For who knows that, it's electric clutch. It's being used on lawn tractor to engage the belt So the motor spins here and the belt is going to engage with using current. I've got 2 of those, one here, and while spinning the main shaft coming from the PTO with that gear, I'm going to spin small sprockets like this one on 2 shafts, but they are going to spin in different direction using a threading of the chain. Both shafts will be going in the reverse direction, and whichever clutch is going to be engaged is going to define the direction of the spin. And those are the remotes I'm going to use. It's used usually for winches, so I'm going to connect them to the electric clutch. So in a few minutes, Max is going to join me for the rest of the project. Until then, I'm going to do a cleanup of my garage. It's going to heat up. Sorry about the noise, but it's I need to heat the garage at some point. And voila, this is the project for today. This weekend, or for the next few weekends. Stick around.